Hey girl, hey! Welcome to my story time of how me and my boyfriend moved away from home at 18. First of all, if you don't know who I already am, my name is Nevaeh. I'm from Hawaii, the island of Oahu. I was born and raised there, 18 years of my life, girl. 18 years, never left the island. I moved away from home 2-ish months after I turned 18. So, I just have like very big dreams and aspirations to just go to the mainland, because I'm thinking like, girl, the mainland, like, I used to literally watch YouTube videos of people just walking around the city. I just got big city girl dreams in an island girl body. We can drop more lore about like my entire situation in other videos. Setting the scene. I'm a senior in high school. At this point, while I'm still in high school, I'm only 17. And I'm a senior in high school, and I was just barely starting to work. Like, I was working very casually. I would only work like 4 or 5 hours a day when I could, because I was still in school. And so I was only really making like $300-400 on a check, and I wasn't really trying to save money. Like, I would try, like, I would put like maybe like $50 at a time in my savings. But even then, like, if I wanted the money back, I'll take it back out of my savings. I always knew that I wanted to go to college. I always had aspirations to go to college because I felt like I was a pretty good student. And I think what really pushed me to want to go to college and to really try to pursue it was I just wanted to go to the mainland. I just wanted to get away from home. And I knew, like, I grew up with like stricter parents. Nothing like super strict, but especially as their oldest daughter, like first girl, they're just a little bit more hesitant about things. If I go to the mainland for college, like, they can't say no. It's college, you know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be 18, but girl, I grew up cultured, okay? Like, you don't, when you're 18, you're not. You thought you was an adult, you ain't an adult. I feel like just knowing that I could go to the mainland for school was really what pushed me to want to do it. Yeah, I didn't really start getting serious about college till senior year. Like, I knew I always wanted to go to college, but I never took action and like take the steps towards getting myself to college, you know what I mean? Because, mind you, I'm basically a first generation like college student. My parents know little to none about the process of it and just college, period. More so nowadays, it's a little bit more technical because there's like FAFSA and loans and scholarships and all that. I wasn't really applying and all that till like literally my senior year. If you know anything about college or whatever, that's hella late. Like, I don't even know how I got in, but it just says a lot about the school I went to. But I went to a school that has a pretty high acceptance rate. Like, if you get rejected, then girl, did you even go to school? So me and my boyfriend have like friends and acquaintances that were already going to that school, like siblings and stuff. We also had our friends that were planning on going to the same school. So we were already pretty comfortable with it, knowing that, like, damn near everybody we know was already gonna be there. I don't know, being that my parents had never gone through the process, and I don't know, I just never really talked about the process of going to college. Like, I wasn't asking my friends, like, oh, how do I da 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 da, or I wasn't talking to counselors. Like, I wasn't talking about it. Like, I don't know, I just thought I was magically gonna go to college, like, like, and I'm being so serious. Like, ask my parents, ask anybody. I had no sense of like urgency to figure it out. I really didn't have any type of information about it. I applied to the school, but girl, I didn't even really know how much my tuition that I as an individual was going to be paying. I had no type of housing situation, and I didn't apply for any classes, so like I didn't even know what the heck I was gonna do if I went to the school. I applied and I just thought like, oh, bet, now I'm going to school, I found out I got accepted. I was like, bang, we in there. Like, my parents would ask me, of course, so like, what are you gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna go to school. They trust me enough to be super independent, so I think they were thinking like that I was figuring it out, except I wasn't coming to them with any information. And so, as it got closer, like at this time, it's probably like around April of 2022, okay? And they're like, so what's going on? Are you gonna go to school or not? I was like, oh yeah, I got accepted. And they were like, oh. And mind you, I'm just very bad at this because like when it comes to things, I already know what's going on in my head. I have all these plans in my head. I have all these thoughts. I have all these, everything is in my head, but I forget that I have to like say it. I forget I have to like speak it and like tell people. Like I forget that people can't just read my mind, you know? Cuz it was so late that there was basically no housing available anywhere. No dorms, no on campus, no off campus, like nothing. And because it was just so new, like for goodness sakes, I'm going to the mainland for the first time. I didn't think like I was gonna go find like actual like real housing like that's not associated with the school at all. I was just like, frick, like I don't know, bro. Like all these things people were asking me, I was like, I didn't even think about that low key. My friend, Ano, I would talk about it a lot with her. Her older sister is the one that was already in the like already there. She had a place. She been to the school, all that, right? So she was like, well, mommy said like you can just stay with her. You can stay at mommy's place. And I was like, are you sure? Like, and I'm that kind of person like I hate relying on people, not in like a shady way, just like I don't want anyone to feel like they need to do anything for me or like I'm okay with trying to like rough it out and figure it out. She was like, mommy said you could just like, kick it with her for a little bit till you find a place. And I was like, I kind of took it very lightly, and then as time got closer, I was like, okay, bet. Like, mommy said I could stay with her, right? Because I still have yet to have anything figured out. Like, my boyfriend, Ez, he had already, like, they've been through the ropes, you know what I mean? And so, he had everything figured out. He had a dorm, he had his meal plan, he had tuition, like, he had everything figured out. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, I could stay with mommy at her place. Worst case scenario, I could just kick it at Ez's dorm, right? Because, like, I knew they have, like, rules and stuff, but I was like, we gonna figure it out. Like, it's not a problem till it's right in front of my face and I have to figure it out right then and there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna create problems till there's actually a problem. When my parents are asking me, I'm just like, oh, mommy said I could stay at her place. Ez has a dorm, worst case scenario. I can pay for school. I can apply for FAFSA and loans and scholarships and da da da, which I did. I ended up getting a few, like one or two scholarships, and then FAFSA covered a good amount. And then my tuition wasn't gonna be a lot. My tuition was only like, I want to say like 2,200 after all that. And so I was like, bet, like that's like a lot of money regardless, but that's better than like 20 grand, you know what I mean? So I was like, boom, I'll just pay it I'll pay it out of pocket. I'll pay like a monthly bill towards my tuition. I wasn't gonna go take out like a loan to put towards my school, you know what I mean? Because my parents didn't know anything about that either. Like, girl, we don't know nothing. We are starting from scratch. I ended up signing up for a monthly payment plan. I told my parents, like, hey, this is how much tuition's gonna be for me. I can pay it. If I'm really in a rut, then you guys can help me pay it. I can stay at mommy's place. Worst case scenario, kick it at Ez's dorm. That's super close to the school, so I don't have to worry about commuting. Obviously, I had no plans of a job because I wasn't applying for jobs all the way back home. I'm the kind of person, like, I know I'm gonna figure it out. That's why I don't really worry about it, even though I procrastinate to the very last possible minute. I know that God can help me do it. I knew that things would fall into place, so I wasn't too stressed, even though any other person would be very much stressed or had been prepared. Flight arrangements, I could either fly. I was banking on flying with my boyfriend, obviously, and I was like, well, I can fly with Ez and his family because his parents is gonna fly him up. And my mom, well, they were initially like, no, that's not gonna happen. I come from a background where I just knew my parents weren't gonna be able to fly me up. We could not afford that. I have other siblings they need to take care of. They have jobs. Like, there was absolutely no way we were gonna be able to afford or pull off them flying me all the way up here for school. Hence why I had to figure out how I was gonna get there via third party. Like, with my boyfriend's family or like with a friend's family. And so my two options were to fly with my friend Ano or my boyfriend Ezra. Presenting it to them, I was like, I can fly with Ez, his family's gonna fly him, his parents are gonna fly him up, they're gonna take him to orientation, they're gonna get an Airbnb, they're gonna do X, Y, and Z. Because at this point in time, me and Ez's time that we were allowed to spend together was very limited. I was not allowed to hang out with homeboy more than twice a week. Twice a week was like crazy if I did. He like was hardly able to come around my family, and like I was able to go with his family, but again, very like occasionally. Now we're talking about me flying with him and his parents to the mainland, miles away from them, for the first time, like alone with my boyfriend, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, that they was like, girl, what the hell? Ain't no way you asking us that. I kind of just pondered on it, you know. I left it as that, and I was like, okay. When it came up again, and I kind of reassured them of like the details, like broken down into numbers. I was just breaking everything down like as thorough as possible so they could fully understand like what was going on, and so even for myself, so I could fully understand what was going on. And they had come around and they were like, okay, like, yeah, we thought about it and we do agree, like we think you should fly with Ez, my boyfriend, because they, you know, they knew his parents, obviously, and just growing up in Hawaii, everybody knows everybody, you know. This whole process, like, when I think back on it, I know 100% that this was God on my side, because tell me how the flight that Ez and his family were on was still open. The exact flight that they were on was still open. Mind you, they had booked this flight, like, months prior, you know. I didn't even book it till, like, a month before. Like I said, I worked very casually, and so I didn't have like any crazy amounts of money. I probably had like 400 in my savings max, you know. And my flight was like, I want to say like 350, you know, we're gonna say 350 for a one-way ticket. And I had just enough money to cover that. I was like, bet, bought the ticket, and I was like, okay, now there's really no going back. Like, I'm catching this flight, I'm going to the mainland, like, period. That was kind of that, like, while I was still home, that was it. Like, I wasn't really doing any other extravagant, like, preparations for leaving. I kind of was just, like, you know, slowly packing my bags, making sure that my parents were fully confident and comfortable with me doing this. You know, of course, talking to Ez, my boyfriend, and his parents about it, and just making sure everybody was on the same page and that everybody knew what the situation was going to be. Of course, we graduated high school in May.
Magna cum laude, CT.
June was kind of just a free month, you know, we were chilling, soaking up our time at home. Same thing in July, but we did fly out like the last week of July. That morning that we had to fly out, my parents, we met up at Ez's house, we all drove to the airport, and then I said goodbye to my parents, and then from there I was fully in the hands of Ez and his family, which I know really like scares my parents, because they know I'm a pretty independent person and I can figure things out for myself. But just as, you know, just as their little girl, like I'm their first girl. We fly into Vegas first. We have a good couple days in Vegas, you know. I'm all hyped because I'm like, damn, like I only see this on videos. Like I never seen this in person. And mind you, like, if you live in Hawaii, damn near everybody has been to Vegas. That's like literally the 9th island, if you don't know already. And so I was like, dang, this is nice. Like the lights and the malls, and it's just so big. Like being a girl from Hawaii and then like finally going to the mainland for the first time is like a crazy feeling. Like crazy. Like I felt like I was on top of the freaking world, bro. Like I felt like I don't know, bro, but I felt like I could do anything and everything. Like it was like a huge, like almost like confidence boost for me, even though I was scared, because I was like, I feel like finally coming to the mainland made me feel so tiny, you know, like just the landscape of it and the amount of people and just the difference in culture and all of that. Like it was crazy. It was a crazy feeling. We ended up driving out here to St. George, checked into an Airbnb. We ended up getting sick around this time, so we were like stuck in the house for a little bit, or we felt better, and we had orientation coming up, so we were like, okay, we have to go. It was okay. It was my first time seeing the school. You know, you do icebreakers in these little groups. And I remember when we were doing icebreakers, and I think we were playing Two Truths and a Lie. And like one of my truths were like, oh, this is my first time visiting the school. And so everyone thought that was my lie. And then when I had to share, I was like, oh, that was actually my truth. And everybody was like, the I was kind of being like a little fly on the wall, kind of. Like, that's just how I was feeling that day. I did not really want to socialize. Because we had to, like, you know, you kind of walk around this thing of, like, clubs and all that stuff. And I was, like, just standing on the side. I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't right now. And then that's how I ended up meeting my friends, Vale and Jocelyn, like my besties, my little college besties, because literally, well, Vale came up to me and she was like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. And I was like, thank you so much, you're literally gorgeous. Or she was like, oh, what's your name? I was like, I'm Nevaeh. And she was like, oh, girl, I'm Nevaeh. And I was like, what? Like, that's pretty crazy. Like, I know Nevaeh, like, Nevaeh is a pretty popular name. But, like, I never first person met another Nevaeh, you know? My name is, like, Heaven spelled backwards. She's like, me too. And I was like, crazy. Mind you, we were kind of low-key wearing the same fit. We had, like, a black top, some jeans. I think we had our hair slicked back. And yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I ended up kind of just, like, sticking with her. And then, so we were, like, talking. And then we went outside. And then that's where I met, like, I met Jocelyn. And then there was, like, a few other girls, but they never really stuck. We kind of took a tour of like where you're supposed to be at, and then me and Jocelyn ended up having the same like connections class, like almost like a homeroom class. And yes, from that day forward, we was kicking it like as much as we could. After orientations passed and stuff, we ended up going on excursions. So we went to San Hollow and we rented like ATVs and stuff. As his dad had asked, like, "Oh, are you guys hiring?" And they were like, "Yeah, you know." But we didn't really know that like this place was pretty much known for like hiring college kids because it was like a summer job, you know. And so they were like, "Yeah, we are." And then we ended up doing an interview right then and there. He was like, "Bet, okay, you guys can start work tomorrow." And we were like, period. Like, we just got a damn job and we were hyped about it, okay? Because we didn't know how the hell we were gonna pay for stuff while we were here by ourselves. Like, I mean, we knew like we could rely on our parents, but like, you don't want to do that. Bro, we're set. We're set. I have a place to, I'll have a roof over my head. S has his dorm. We just got a job to help pay for stuff. That will help me pay for school. This is it. Like, this is it. And to this day, I'm very grateful for Ez's parents. I'm very grateful for my parents. I'm grateful for every single person that played a part in this story. Then boom, we went on our rental tour. Like, we went on our ATV tour. We ended up getting into an accident, but that can be another story time if you guys want. Third, we ended up spending the rest of the day at the hospital, and then his family had to fly out the very next day. So we woke up the next morning. Ez's parents had to drive all the way back to Vegas to fly out, and then we had work that morning. So it was kind of like very rushed, and like we didn't really have time to like process everything that happened. But yeah, the next day we had school. Within like the first 2 weeks of school, you know, you're figuring out your classes, figuring out where they're at, you're doing icebreakers and stuff. And in my math class, of course you just sit anywhere. And I'm sitting next to this girl whose name is Liz. Alyssa, if you will. We're doing icebreakers and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from Hawaii. And she's like, oh, where in Hawaii are you from? And I was like, Oahu. And she's like, where in Oahu are you from? I'm like, the west side of the island, like Kapolei, Makakilo. And she's like, oh, wait, no way. And she's like, wait, your name is Nevaeh? And I was like, yeah. Because, like, obviously, right? Because, mind you, like, again, we have mutuals all there, and, like, everybody, you know, we're all talking, so everybody kind of knows my situation, like, my friends, anyway. And so she's like, wait, you need a place to stay, right? And I was like, yeah, like, yeah. She was like, wait, no way, do you know Shaylee? And I was like, Shaylee? I was like, I don't think so. I was like, she from Kapolei? She was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know, Shaylee. And she's like, Sia? And I was like, oh, Sia! I was like, yes, I do know Sia. And I was like, wait. She's like, I'm her roommate. And I was like, oh. She's like, we need a third roommate if you still need a place. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. I was like, oh my, but I took it very lightly. Like, I was super hype about it at the time. but I took it very lightly, you know, like I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go move in tomorrow, you know. I was just like, oh cool, bet. Because at this point in time, I still didn't really know how much I was making on a check. I didn't ask her how much I'd be paying, but I just, this was like the first week of things, so we were letting things still kind of settle. A couple weeks go by and she texts me, because we ended up exchanging phone numbers and stuff. But she texts me and she's like, hey, we still need a roommate if you still need a place. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for reaching back out, because I low-key forgot about it. But yes, I do. And she was like, oh my gosh, perfect. Like, well, this is how much it would be. This is where it's at. Da, 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 and you can come and check it out whenever you want. And I was like, guys, the way that the amount of money I was paying was literally perfect. It was like the perfect amount for how much I was making and stuff. It was still super close to school. Like I would have to drive to get to school, but this town is pretty small in general, so like it wasn't super far. And I ended up checking out the place. It was so beautiful and perfect. My roommate was Sia and Liz, and we was popping, girl. I had my job to help me pay for my tuition. I had a place to stay at now of my own. Because me and Ez were working together at this place, we were making more than enough to help support like ourselves with whatever we needed, you know, gas, groceries, any of that kind of stuff. And it just like all worked out literally so perfectly. I thank God all the time for literally protecting me and like guiding me and just giving me so much grace and helping me figure it out, because now that you've heard this story, like there is no way that that wasn't God, you know, like every little thing literally just like fell into place. As a island girl in the mainland for the first time, you know how scared out of my mind I was when I like really got here? My first week of school, I was going through it. I was calling my parents, like bawling my eyes out, because I was like, what did I do? Mind you, like my first time, like, because after I got my place, Ez ended up moving in with me and canceled his school housing. So like, you know, my first time living with my boyfriend, like just so many like firsts and new things for me that like if I allowed myself to spiral, like a lot of things could have gone so bad, you know what I mean? Like any person would think of all the things that could go wrong. I mean, I'm sure my parents were, because they're my parents, that's their job, you know? Like God did all this for me. This is like, I swear, my big like story of like how God moved in my life, because it's crazy to me. But yes, and I'm just super grateful to every single person that played a part in all of this. Thank you, Jesus, of course. Thank you to my parents for trusting me and believing in me and having confidence in me and just raising me to like be the person I am. Thank you to Ez and his family for supporting us and helping us and, you know, getting us here and like, you know, taking care of me, because my parents trusted me with them and all that. Thank you to Ano and Leimomi for helping house me, putting a roof over my head when I didn't have one just yet. And thank you to Jocelyn and Vea for being so kind to me. Yeah, I'm just super grateful for everyone that was involved, and I'm just so blessed for all of that. I really am. Like I said, this is my story of like, it just gives me life, you know? It gives me purpose all over again, because it's like, that really happened. And that all happened in the year of 2022. And it is now 2025. Of course, from then till now, a lot happened in between. So if you guys have any other questions or like just want to know anything, just comment or DM me or something and let me know. Because I do love sharing my life. I really do. I try to be a little careful, but I feel like I'm such an open book, and I really do love sharing like my experiences, my stories, just anything, you know, anything that really helps people get like a better insight of just not only me, but just life in general, you know. I'm sorry if I was like kind of like all over the place, or if you just still are a little confused or what, but I hope it made sense, and I hope this one gave you a better idea of who I am, why I am the way I am. And now I'm so happy to be in the mainland. I just want to do things all the time. I still have big city dreams. So excited to be here still. There's so much I still want to see. So many places I want to travel to. Just so many things that I still dream and aspire of. Don't be afraid to comment down below. Just let me know your thoughts, your anything. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you want to see more of. Let me know if you enjoyed it. You know, just let me know anything, girl. Like I said, just speak to me. Let me know you're here. Just leave a comment, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, girl. If you gotta make an account and subscribe. This is the one subscription you don't need to pay money for. I promise. No hidden fees, none of that. Thank you all for tuning into another video. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful to everyone and anyone that's interacting with my stuff. It truly, like, it makes my heart so happy because I love being social. Don't be a little monitoring spirit, okay? So yes, this one's a little different this week. I hope you liked it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I love you and God bless.